What is going on, everyone? Trust the Buzz here. If you're new to the channel, I make Charlotte Hornets content, so if that interests you, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. If you cannot tell by the thumbnail title of this video, today's video we're going to be talking about with the 33rd pick, how the Charlotte Hornets selected Sion James, 6'5" guard from Duke, and another a good pick, a good pick. He plays defense. This is something I actually knew I knew they were targeting him, and I never know stuff, but like this one I knew. This one I knew. I know people that know people, but I don't know the people. But this is one of the ones that trickled through the grapevine, and I actually had some insight on this, and yeah, I think it's a good pick. Didn't think they'll pick him this early. I thought maybe they would trade back and get him, but still, nonetheless, you go get your guy, and that's one thing I appreciate about the process specifically this year is that they just got their guy. They just got who they wanted, that fit the system. All the picks make sense for what we're trying to do. It's just a matter of now having it, work out. But to feel like we have a plan, I think it's just a massive change in culture for real, because we never seem like we have a plan, and I feel like we look out with some stuff. I would even say with the LaMelo Ball thing when we drafted him, I think that was just luck that the Warriors didn't choose him. You know what I mean? They kind of were forced to take that pick, and that's how we've always been. We've all have said in the past, the Hornets need to be forced to make a good decision. They don't really make the good decision, but this time I think they made good decision. They made good decision. They got their guys. They weren't too afraid about where everybody else had him, what everybody else thought of him. Does he fit our system? Is he going to impact winning, and how so? And I think they did that. I mean, you look at what Sion James was able to do at Tulane, and then eventually go to Duke with less minutes and still put up a better, more efficient season, but still having similar impact. You know what I mean? Which is great, because at Tulane, as you see, he played 37 minutes, shot 48% from the field, 32% from three, and then averaged 10 points. And then he had I wouldn't say a breakout year, but a better year. But then really you look at what he did at Duke, where at first he didn't start, and then he became the starter. And then he put up 52% from the field, 41% from three, 81% from the free throw line, averaged 9 points, but averaged for 4 rebounds, 3 assists. He's a stout defender, strong build. He's a guy that just is gonna cause havoc on defense, and I hope that we really are drafting him to use him. I don't want to draft him and throw him on a two-way necessarily. While it could be possible that that happens, I don't want it to. I actually want this guy to play. There's guys on our team right now. I feel like I would rather have Sion James play. Yes, we're going to have to work with, him being a rookie, of course. I don't care that he played 5 years in college, and we're going to say the same thing about Ryan Kalkbrenner. But at the same time, I just like what they already bring to the table. And that's one thing I really enjoy about this draft is what these guys already have done in college is what the Hornets are going to need them to do. You don't have to change your role. You don't have to do more of this, do more of that, do less of this. Literally do what you've been doing this whole time, just at a more efficient level. You know what I mean? And efficiency, I'm not referring to just shooting, just a more optimal level. Be, a smarter defender, be a better relocator when it comes to, moving around. If you're Ryan Kalkbrenner, just be more, patient when it comes to players trying to go to the rim and you blocking shot, just things like that. But what you already do, the skill set you already have. Yes, we need you to improve and all those things, but your baseline is what we need, and you already provide that. So I think that these guys are going to have the transition from the college or whatever to the NBA is never easy, but I think that it's simplified for them. They just have to, make that extra jump. And I think Sion can do that. He does some good stuff off ball. He's a good cutter. As I mentioned with the defense, it's just very stout. He doesn't get very many stocks, as he's not making too many turnovers. He's not an event creator, but he just plays really hard defense, and it allows that. It allows events to happen. He'll bump you, and then boom, someone comes in, takes the ball from you. He puts you in a corner, make you make a bad pass. Someone intercepts the pass. So he's that kind of defender where he's going to force you to make mistakes. And I mean, he did a good job of that at the NBA Combine. That, he just showed exactly what kind of player he could be. And I think he's going to be a steal, man. I think he's going to be a steal. I feel like sometimes people think of steals as guys who go in the second round and become this great scorer or anything like that. I wouldn't say that. per se. I would say more so by steal, I simply just mean that he's just going to have an impact on winning, and he's going to make winning plays. And we desperately need that, as all Duke players are, unfortunately, as a Carolina fan. But all Duke players, they don't make mistakes. Sion James was definitely someone that I would watch and be like, man, if Carolina had someone like that. Like, he's not doing too much. He's just very impactful. So similar to, Seth Trimble, but at the end of the day, he's just not, they're not the same player. But, there's nothing wrong with having a bunch of these guys. And his usage was low, but as you saw, he shot very well. He doesn't turn the ball over. He gets rebounds. He's effective, as I mentioned. I just really like him. He gets to the free throw line. Like, there's just so much to like about this guy. And I think that it's just the right move. It's just the right move. You have a big guard that can play defense, and that's it. He can play make a little bit. He can get your rebounds. He's going to be all over the floor. I think you can give him, some time to be your point of attack. I would also like to see, like, in some positions where he's a roaming a little bit, just playing passing lanes. When you go to the offensive side of the ball, I don't know if there's like this next level. I think he is what he is. I think that he just needs to go in and be like, I'm gonna be a defender. Obviously, keep up the shooting, but I'm not working on trying to be being an outstanding creator or anything like that. I'm here to just play defense on the other team's best, ball handler, and go from there. He's going to make shots. He's going to make the most of it. He's going to take open shots. As I mentioned, he is a good cutter. So being able to move around and get some maybe easy shots at the basket obviously will be beneficial. But I don't think we're ever going to see him be this, Trey Man-esque. I just use Trey Man just because he's on the team. But I don't think we're ever going to see him be this Trey Man-esque creator on offense. It's very simple. It's very fundamental, but it's sharp. And that's like one thing. That's one thing you can expect from Duke players in general, but that's something you need. You need guys that don't make mistakes. You need guys that know how to read the game, understand the game, have a feel for the game. And I think he has that. His role, we saw his role changed. He took on the role at Duke, knowing that it wasn't going to be the same as Tulane and probably not the same as like at these other schools who probably would have asked him, hey, we need you to drop 20 a game. Goes to Duke, take a lesser role, but excels in that role, and that role just so happens to set him up for exactly what he can be in the NBA. So focusing more on that, I think, is what led him to be able to be drafted where he was, and he continues down that path, man. We're going to have a good team, and I was concerned at one point just because, I liked Kalkbrenner, I liked Rasheer Fleming, I liked Noah Penda, I liked Maxime Renaud. There was a lot of guys I liked around this area, and I wanted to walk away. I didn't mind getting a center, even though I still want a vet center. But I was mindful of, are we going to get a point of attack defender? Because I knew we might get like a wing. I figured might get a wing and definitely look at one of the bigs. I didn't know which big, but I knew we were going to look at one of the bigs. But I'm glad they pulled through. Like I said, I knew about this. I figured, everything I was told is that this is who they were targeting. I didn't know if they were going to take him at 33 or take someone else at 33 and 34 and then come back and get him later. I didn't know how it was going to work, but they obviously have a thing of just getting your guys, and they did that, and I think he's going to be exceptional for us. I think he can play that role that Steve Clifford was thinking about using Nick Smith Jr. in this, like, oh, you're going to be our own ball defender, shoot well from the corner. And that, that trajectory from that looked pretty good for Nick Smith Jr., but then it kind of just fell off last year. And he has some good moments, but there's some other moments where, I don't know, it's just not clicking. And, for Sion James, he's not going to be trying to do as much offensively as Nick Smith Jr. tries to do and has been asked to do. It's going to be a little more laid back, but at the same time, I think that defense is going to be much higher than what Nick Smith Jr. is able to get us because of his frame and whatnot. So, yeah, Sion James, good player. I'm excited, man. I think we had a pretty good draft class.